one of your favorite topics is just go a little bit more into the world of concepts. Hopefully that's coming up on the screen.
Yeah, it did.
Okay. I think my other
I don't
behind, but there we go. I mean, you had mentioned that generic programming has been going on since the beginning of templates 20 years ago or more. And now we have concepts in. What are those benefits? What are the benefits to a programmer? What can I, as a developer, look forward to?
I mean, it has been going on since the very beginning. I wrote a paper in '81 saying you needed generic programming, and I conjectured that macros were the way to get it. Boy, I was right about this problem and what we needed, and I was so wrong about how to get it. But today we have solved it. People who are that old can remember when C couldn't do function argument checking. That is, you said square root of 2, and if you were lucky, your computer crashed. Because it didn't know how to convert an integer into a double. Well, actually, it knew that, but it didn't know it had to in that situation. So specifying arguments, specifying the requirements of a code precisely is very valuable. And that's what we will be able to do with concepts. We can say sort of something that's to be sortable, as opposed to sort anything and hope that what you gave it actually was something that was a sequence with random access and something that has less than for its element type. We can express that directly. And again, back to compilation speed. If you write with concepts, it actually compiles faster than if you use workaround like enable if and such to protect you against overgenerality. I find that the greatest benefit from concepts actually is that now you can express your designs more precisely and you can think about your designs better. You don't make as many thinkos, and then afterwards, if you get typos and such, the compiler catches you. And it is exactly the benefits of having a good type system, having a good way of thinking about your code.
Now,
and we haven't damaged runtime performance or generality.
Okay. I was reading, and maybe I've got this wrong. There's been a conversation, maybe it was with you and Herb Sutter and others, about a convenience notation for concepts. Is that done, or is that being discussed?
It's sort of done. I never called it a convenience notation because I thought it was just a notation. I want generic programming to be as close to ordinary programming as it can be. As a matter of fact, I want it to be ordinary programming, and I wanted that for a long time. The basic design that we have now was done by me and Gabby Das Reyes starting in 2003. And that's what my keynote that you're referring to at CPPCon was about. And basically, when I say square root of double, I say I want a double. And if I say sort of something sortable, I want something sortable. When I say square root of double, I really mean that anything that can be used as a double, like an integer, can be used. When I say square root of sortable ref, I want a reference to something I can sort. And that's it. And I think there's a conversion between convergence between types and contracts. A concept. A type says how you can use an object and how you can create it. A concept does only the first part of it. A concept says how you can use an object. It doesn't tell you how to make it because it doesn't actually, at the point where you use it, know what the exact type is, but it knows that it can use it and how. And so there's a very deep convergence going on here. That's what I want. And for that reason, I wanted void, sort of, sortable, ref to be the notation. Some people I think they panicked. They, of course, disagree and think they're being cautious. But they wanted to be able to see whether it was a function or a template function. And my claim is that they shouldn't have to know. And there are some mistakes we have made in the design of C++, in particular an R-value reference and a forwarding reference uses exactly the same notation, and that's not right. But that means that there are a few cases where having a template or having a non-template gives a different meaning. And for that reason, they absolutely wanted to know whether sort was a template in what I just said. Void, sort of, sortable, ref doesn't tell you it's a template, unless you know what sortable means. My argument was that, well, if you don't know what sortable means, why do you say it? I mean, you don't use types without knowing that they are types, and you won't use concepts without knowing they're concepts. But that argument didn't win the day. So they insisted on some notation, and the notation that we all agreed on in the end was we have to say void, sort of, sortable, auto ref. Auto is the magic cookie that says that something is going on with multiple types and with binding of types and that kind of stuff. And so you do what I would recommend and what I talk about, and then you sprinkle auto over your code like pixie dust, and it works. It'll annoy me for a very long time because I think it's redundant and I don't like to type. Yep. Undoubtedly, somebody is going to propose that auto means optional, so that people who like the extra pixie dust can have it, and those of us who think it's unnecessary won't have to say it. But my guess is that there will be strong opposition there, because somebody who are afraid of concepts and templates wants to be sure that my code doesn't hide them. And so we'll leave that for there. We made huge progress. We get the design benefits. We get most of the notational benefits. And maybe when people get more used to it, they'll get less nervous.